To claim your tickets to the Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshop for free, all you have to do is to subscribe to the Thrive Time Show on iTunes, leave an objective review, and send us confirmation at info@thrivetimeshow.com. To claim your star in the National Star Registry, we can't help you.
All right, welcome back to the Thrive Time Show on your radio. If you want to claim your star in the National Registry, have you heard that commercial? Claim your star in the National Registry. It's a great way to say I love you. Have you heard that commercial?
No. Are we talking about
star
like in space?
Yeah, apparently you can go up there and you can claim a star.
yes.
This is
in
the
the
first
National
time hearing of
Registry.
it.
Really?
I've heard of this. I thought you meant like a Hollywood star.
No. No, you can claim your star and give it as a gift. And I don't know. If you gave that to me, I'd be pissed.
I would be like, I donated money to the Human Fund.
Get out of here.
What is the Human Fund?
Okay. It's a fund for humans as opposed to a fund for extraterrestrials. Okay.
Stars.
So we're talking about determining your weekly break-even and goal achievement numbers. All right. So here are the action items you have to do if you want to become successful. You have to know your numbers. You got to know your numbers. If you're going to pump it up, you've got to know your numbers. You got to get the numbers. You got to know. You got to pump them up. You have to make them huge, chop.
Lift the numbers.
You got to write them down on the whiteboard. Okay, no, but seriously, you got to write them down on a whiteboard in your office. Step one: write it down on a whiteboard in your office. The number of deals you need per week to break even. There's nothing funny here. Two, write down on your daily to-do list that you carry around the number of deals you need per week to break even. On the whiteboard and the clipboard, write down how many deals you need per week to break even.
Anything with a board.
Then on the whiteboard and the clipboard, you want to write down the number of deals you need to achieve your financial goals. Your financial goals. Do I always have to be the adult here?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you have to write down the number of goals, the number of deals you need to achieve your financial goals on both the clipboard and the whiteboard. If you don't obsess about it, it's not going to happen. Now, here's the part that no one wants to do. You've got to create a list of all the expenses related to delivering your product or service. This is called the cost of goods.
True.
Chup, can you list out just a couple of, or a few of the cost of goods that we put here on today's show notes?
So yeah, you've got your cost of all of the materials that go into building out your product, right? You've got the cost of labor, cost of driving if you're delivering, if it's a service or you're delivering your product. You've got insurance, credit card fees, taxes, all that kind of stuff. You've got to list all that stuff out. You have to literally take the time and list all of this stuff out, or it's kind of pointless if you don't have accurate numbers.
It's super important that you do it for the past 90 days. It's so important.
You have to do that.
If you don't do it, what's going to happen is you're going to have a rosy perspective of what your expenses are. And I can't tell you how many times I've sat down with a business owner, Chup, where they have thought their costs were a certain thing, and the costs are a lot more. I mean, dramatically more. They're not factoring in credit card fees.
Yeah.
They're not factoring in insurances. They're not factoring in lawsuits.
It's extremely rare that someone would be factoring in the correct cost if they haven't actually done what we're telling them to do right now. You're not going to stumble your way into this. You actually have to sit down, think about it, use your brain power, and list out these expenses.
Now the next thing you want to do is you want to create a list of all the fixed expenses for the past 90 days. Okay? That would be like your printing costs, your leasing costs, your electrical bills, your water bills, your phone bills, internet bills, insurance bills. There's a lot of things that are ongoing expenses that if you're not careful about, you're just not going to factor those in. Marshall, you've sat down I just think of one example. You sat down with a chiropractor and you worked for, I want to say, dude, seriously, probably 8 hours, 9 hours helping those folks a few years ago?
Closer to 12.
12 hours.
Yeah.
And you're working through all the expenses. And were they shocked? I mean, were you shocked? Were they shocked? Who was shocked when you finally entered in all the expenses?
I was shocked. And you can't prepare for that if you've never looked at the numbers in that great of detail before, because you end up finding all of these different things that the card is being charged for that you didn't know about. But you don't find those unless you go line item by line item and look exactly what is coming out from the bank. And then you get asked the question, who put that on the card?
Yeah.
Why is that on the card? I didn't approve that. Who's charging that? And without fail, every time I've done this with a client, you will typically find at least 10 line items on there where you're like, oh no, this is what is sinking our ship. We can't be doing that anymore.
I want to encourage all of the listeners to take the time to create a list of all of the expenses related to delivering your products or services for the past 90 days. Create a list of all of the fixed expenses for the past 90 days. It is so important that you do this, and then once you've done this, you need to work with your coach to create a pro forma. Now, a pro forma is nothing but, again, it's a projection of future financial performance based upon known variables. And so you're going to know the profit per customer as a result of making this. You're going to know the number of deals you need to make per week to break even. You're going to know the number of deals per week you need to achieve your goals. But if you don't do this, you're never going to know, and it's going to cause you dis-ease, Marshall. You're going to get frustrated.
And I want to make this visual because we talk about fixed expenses, hard expenses. I want to make this visual and give an example here. So every single month, you have your fixed expenses.
Every month?
Every month, which is a bucket, okay? It is your bucket. And so every single job that you do, you have a cup or a glass, okay? And you have to understand what it means to break even.
Real quick, you've been very heavy on the container analogies.
I know,
buckets,
container analogies.
Glasses, drawers.
So your break-even point is how many times do I need to fill up my glass of profit, okay? My glass is my profit. How many times do I need to take that and dump it into the bucket in order to get that water level to come to the top of the bucket? How big is that? If you have a bigger bucket, you're going to need to fill up that bucket many times with that glass. And so once you get into the habit of understanding that your profit per customers goes towards your monthly fixed cost every single month, you will become successful. You will understand your numbers. You will know what it means to break even on your business.
So the other reason to build off of that this is super important is not only are you going to know your numbers, so you're going to be able to get your finances squared away, but this is also the first steps to scaling your business. You can use these numbers to then create key performance indicators to hold your team members accountable to that actually grow your business. And you can't do that if you don't know these numbers. There's no place to start.
I want to bring the room down a little bit.
Okay.
Can I do that?
Okay.
Please.
Okay. I know that our listeners are very diligent people.
Yes.
That are willing to delay gratification.
Super diligent.
And to block out the time needed to get things done.
Very consistent, very proactive.
I know that our business coaching clients we've had throughout the years, all of them execute their action items
extraordinarily well.
But for the people out there who are listening, who know somebody who doesn't find the time to get action items.
A friend of a friend.
These are people we have not met personally, but the kind of things we've heard, a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
Chip, what are the things you've heard friends of our clients have struggled with as it relates to finding the time to make the pro forma?
What I see a lot is that people decide, hey, I'm going to try to tackle this during the middle of the workday. I'm going to wait until I'm dealing with an employee issue. I'm going to wait until I'm dealing with a customer issue or some piece of technology that's broken and try to go over these numbers, and it will not happen.
Marshall, can you grab my phone off of the computer there behind you? I'm going to have Marshall grab my phone. Those of you who are watching on ThriveTimeShow.com, we have the video version of all the shows up there, so you can check them out. But I'm going to pull it up here. I'm going to wave it at the camera so you guys can see. Let's see. Is it not turning on here? Okay, let's see. This could be kind of a
well, here's the first here's the first principle. Your phone is off.
Yeah.
It's just like it's not on.
From Friday to Sunday, my phone's always off.
Because you don't you're not focusing on the phone while you're doing a radio show. You're not focusing on these other items.
Powering up
and
now.
It's finally powering up.
So what I want to share with listeners here. This is big because this is hopefully worth the listen today. I'm going to pull up my alarm here, and my alarm I set right here is at 2:52 is when I got up today. 2:52, and you know why I got up at 2:52? Because there's a little Bible verse I wanted to share with you from Proverbs 13:12. It says, "Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life." My phone, I have no control of my phone. I never use the phone. It turns on all of a sudden, bam.
Bong, boom.
But this is what, again, it says, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. Proverbs 13:12. If you read Proverbs or you read any business book at all, you're going to discover that it takes time to be successful. You've got to say no to things to become successful. And to get your numbers correct, I mean this, your coach will help you, but I believe it's going to require about 20 hours of work. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe guys, have you ever seen one less than that? Maybe 10 hours? So
it's going to take some time.
And when you sit down and look at the numbers, that's going to get you to where you want to go, but it's going to be tough. It's going to take time. So you've got to block out time to do it. You also got to block out time to go to thrivetimeshow.com, where we have 4 ways to help you. We have the in-person workshops, the one-on-one business coaching, the video archive of thousands of videos, and this podcast. My name is Clay Clark. I'm here to coach you up and to help you get to where you want to go financially, but you got to take the action. Go to thrivetimeshow.com today. Without any further ado,
3, 2, 1, boom.